Can we talk about the Bears really quickly? I was happy with the win. I was very, very happy, although it was against a bad football team who really don't have a quarterback. Here was the interesting thing. Jay Cutler really didn't have a good game if you watch the entirety of it, yet the red zone named him the strongest player of the day because he had one good drive. He had one really good drive.
He threw a terrible pick from the one.
He threw a terrible pick from the one. I didn't like the play call. I thought they should have ran it.
Play. Yeah,
I mean, you brought in Michael Bush.
But also, like,
pounded in with Michael Bush.
Run the play. I didn't like the play call either. But I
also. Why are you shaking your head?
All right, first of all, I just want to say this, okay? Nothing makes me angrier than a team that has a first and goal from the one and doesn't just rush it in, and they just make cute like a play action. Just fucking rush it in.
I agree.
Okay,
I disagree with that.
football.
I disagree with that.
No,
Why?
just rush it in.
Why do you disagree?
I disagree with it because the best teams in the history of the NFL were clever around there, and I don't mean you're not. The Patriots don't always. The Bill Walsh Niners.
The Patriots put a lineman at tight end.
So, like, it depends on who your team is. You got to be willing, but what you don't do is that play, which ended with Cutler backpedaling and
what are you
throwing the ball in
paying
the
Michael
middle.
Bush for?
I have the answers.
Yeah.
First of all, you shouldn't be paying Michael Bush. Okay, you have a great running back in Matt Forte.
Why you take your best player out?
Use your best player. Don't bring in a shitty second running back who's fat. They're like, oh, but he's at the goal, and our most important carry will be carried by the fat guy.
So with the Giants, do you put David Wilson or do you put Brandon Jacobs at
Brandon Jacobs is good at it. Is a record of being good at it.
Barely. I mean, like, that's like your best case scenario, and even then, I'd rather have a better running back in, okay? I mean, it's like the best example was the guy from Wisconsin, Ron Dane, right? Oh, Ron, why do you bring the fat ass in? Why do you bring Lendell White? Stop with the fat asses. Then why don't you bring me in at the goal line? Use your best player.
I think, let me just jump in very quickly, because Brandon Jacobs had a significant record of being extremely good at it. If you find someone...
I know, he can run over guys out for just 1 yard, so I hear you.
And I think Michael Bush can too. I think he has that advantage over Matt Forte. I mean, Matt Forte is the finesse running back who is in on 85% of the play.
He's a big guy. He's an NFL guy. He's built.
Nonsense. And I don't hate Michael Bush.
I'm a little turned on by Matt Forte.
I don't hate Michael Bush, but I hate taking out your best player when it's the most important carry. All right.
So so you're okay with Jay Cutler throwing off his back foot?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you run Matt Forte. Now on the issue of running, okay, this is what you do. You do what the Cowboys used to do, okay? You pound with Emmitt Smith, and then just when you think that they're going to pound with Emmitt Smith, you roll around and throw to Novacek, okay? So then you're clever and you've got that option. Instead, if you're the Bears, they're like, oh, here comes some stupid-ass play.
The trap that you guys are falling into is the concept of the He-Man. You pound it in. Their guys, they have 350-pound guys too. The only object is to score.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
The only object is to score. So, and the teams that are good at it, the fact is we're all going to agree. If you're the Cowboys running game, you run it. You keep running it. And you run it because it's incredibly effective with Emmitt Smith. It's been incredible. If you have Terrell Davis, the Broncos didn't mess around.
On first and goal, I would never, ever, ever not run it.
Here's the one scenario. Here's the one scenario that I thought they should have done. You have Brandon Marshall, who's 6'4". You have Martellus Bennett, who's 6'5". You have Alshon Jeffrey, who's 6'3". How about one fade to Brandon Marshall in the corner of the end zone?
It's almost my least favorite play in the NFL.
I agree.
Why?
The fade is the
Why?
worst.
When you have a guy who's 6'5" against a 5'9" corner.
Because if you throw a shitty pass, it gets picked. That's why.
Right, because it's
the fade is really tough. You have to place it between the out of bounds and the defender. And you have a little inch, and you know what?
As long as you have a guy who's 6'5", he can go up and get it. Just throw it up.
It depends on who your quarterback is, because
corner or quarter.
Quarter. The guys who we're talking about, Steve Young and Joe Montana and Troy Aikman and Tom Brady, and I'm not even going to include Peyton Manning because he might be dumb, right? But I mean, and from what I saw last year of RG3, like if the quarterback knows the situation and not Jay Cutler under any circumstances. Like Montana, if call that play and it's not there, and he'll throw it through the goalpost and we'll play on second down. And your fear of the risk doesn't happen with Joe Montana. Right. He almost never made that mistake. Neither did Steve Young, neither did Troy Aikman. They just figure it out, they throw it away, they end the play. They don't take an 8-yard loss. That's the other possibility. Is the play action is you see what happens with like the Panthers. Like Cam Newton is always, they're doing this thing, and then you're like, you were at second and goal, and now you're at third and goal from the 13.
That's the other thing I was going to mention.
How does that? Yeah.
Look, here's the one thing we're forgetting. Not only do you have risk when you pass, unnecessary risk when you're at the 1, but you also have the risk of getting sacked. right? And then all of a sudden it's 2nd and 11. Then your running option is gone. Now they expect the pass. You're in an 8 times worse situation than you were a play ago.
Like
I'm glad we solved this riddle.
You never want to you never want Matthew Stafford to make that play. Ever, ever, ever. Because you know what'll happen. Maybe when there's a different coach there, he won't make the play. But like Brady, if you have Brady drop, he's not going to get sacked. He'll throw it into row E at the second he realizes, okay, this play's not working.